Hi there guys, thanks for watching again today. Today we're having a look at a new tank from Aspire. Yeah, it's not often they bring them out. It's the Triton, and finally we have an RTA section from Aspire. We're having a look at both of these today. So, your first questions will be, what is it? Is it a sub-ohm tank? Is it an RTA, a rebuildable tank? Is it a standard mouth to lung tank? The answer is all of the above. It's a hybrid tank from Aspire, and similar in vein to the Kanga Subtank Plus, which has a sub-ohm head and also a normal above ohm head and a rebuildable deck, and will allow you to smoke direct lung inhale, cloud chasing or cigarette style mouth to lung, and rebuild your own coils to your liking. It's very similar to that, a hybrid tank. It has a 0.4 ohm coil, a hollow stainless steel coil that it comes with, which gives great flavour, amazing flavour. It also has a 1.8 ohm head for your standard mouth to lung ex-smoker style. That's the sub-ohm head that's in there at the minute. And finally, Aspire grudgingly have released an RTA section, so you can rebuild your own coil to your liking, and maybe even put a temperature control coil in here. The RTA section doesn't fit in the Atlantis, unfortunately, but the Atlantis coils will fit in the Triton. That's because the Atlantis used the coil to hold the tank together. The screw machining on the top of the coil held the tank together. This tank doesn't do that, it holds together here, and so they haven't put machining on the top of the RBA section. The RBA section will work in a Vapeston Magnus and the Freemax Star, the same tank. And I think it will work in the Arctic as well, the Horizon Arctic. So we have an RTA section for those, and it'll work in the Triton, of course. And the heads from the Magnus and the Arctic will work in the Triton. So you could put a 0.2 ohm Freemax Star head in here and effectively get 150 watts out of the Triton. So yeah, it's a lot of things all in one tank. I was trying not to gush about the tank and not to make it sound like an advertisement, but I really have been impressed with this tank. I'm not overly keen on the look of the tank. I think it's a bit busy in all the markings, the drip and the little vapour. I don't think they need the markings on there. If they just put in the manual how you do refill it, then they don't need the markings. And the air control at the top is a bit of a gimmick. I've never used them on any tank. I don't know whether it cools your vape or not. I've never used them. I just always have them closed. Yeah, it looks a bit busy. It's not the greatest looking tank. It's quite a big tank, and it only holds 3.5 millilitres, but it performs. There's hollow stainless steel 0.4 ohm head gives flavour like I've never had before. It really, I think it's probably the future of coils, because the flavour on it is unbelievable. And the 1.8 ohm standard head that goes in it is an excellent vape as well for your mouth to lung all day vaping. It's it's a good bit of kit, But before I go any further, let's dive down to the table, have a look at the tank, take it to bits, tell you how it works, and we'll pop a little build in the RTA section as well, show you how that works, and then we'll come back and I'll give you some final thoughts on it. So let's flip the screen, guys. Right, the Triton Aspire, here we have it in the familiar plastic clamshell packaging, which we all know very well. It has the scratch and check authenticity and some blurb. And the tank itself, as you can see, has a droplet on either side and a vapor sign on either side, and you can see a little arrow there which is currently pointing at the vapor. Okay, to turn that, in order to fill the tank, you turn that onto the droplet, which in turn turns this center column, closing off the coil. You see there, it opened and closed there, and it opens inside there, open and closed, and open, and then you put your juice down there, fill up the tank, and yeah, you can also change the coil while there's juice in the tank. If you have it at the juice position, it closes off the coil at the center column, so you can remove your coil without losing your juice. And obviously, if you were out blowing some clouds somewhere with your friends with your sub-ohm coil, and you came home and you wanted to smoke it mouth to lung style, you just take that out, put your other coil in, and switch it back to vapor, which opens it up again, and away you go. Okay, the airflow, it has a long slit here and on that side. It's about 2 millimeters wide, but a good centimeter long, and that you can have that infinitely adjusting right down to just a millimeter on either side, or fully open. Okay, that's the connection. It's not spring loaded, it's a solid pin. The actual drip tip itself is that piece there, and then there's some cooling fins which also have adjustable air there, you can see. I never use this air up here, I think it's a bit of a gimmick, but some people may use it, and it is that piece that removes completely in order for you to fill and refill. There we go. As I say, the coils from this do fit the Magnus, the Vapeston Magnus, and the Freemax Star, which is the same tank, and the coils from those will fit in here as well, but these coils won't fit in an Atlantis, unfortunately, but the Atlantis coils will fit in here. It's just the absence of the machining around the top that holds the Atlantis together, which means you can't put these coils in there. But yeah, I think it's a bit of a busy tank. There's a lot going on.
I don't think they needed these symbols. They could have just put instructions in the manual, but it's all really about how she vapes, and she vapes very well. Right, the RTA unit, which you buy separately from the tank, comes in a fancy tin like that. Okay, and there it gives you instructions on how to assemble. And you get some cotton, some spare O-rings and an insulator and some screws, and you get a tool, a screwdriver and a 3.5 milliliter winding tool, and you get the 3 pieces of your coil. Whoops. There they are. This is the top section, the middle section and the bottom. Okay, probably the easiest way to assemble it is to put the middle and the bottom section together, and then get your coil with the leads. Well, they actually give you a coil with it, so I'll be best demonstrating with that. The coil sits like thus, with your, let's see, like that, yeah, you see, and your one lead goes in that hole there, and your coil sits across the hole with your cotton covering these 2 holes there. So you get your coil like this. You would place one end in there. You'd put your cotton in before this. You need your cotton in before you sit it, and push it down there, and then fasten that screw to hold it in place, and then push your cotton down, and that would hold it like that over that hole there. Okay, you then get the bottom piece, which has a hole in the bottom there, and you just simply feed your other lead straight through there and fasten them together. And you fasten them together, and then there's a screw on the bottom if it chooses to focus. There, and there's a screw there on the bottom which holds that lead there, and that's your airflow, which will come in right about there, and that's how it fastens together. Right, okay, let's try and pop a build in here. I think I'll try do a nickel temperature control build and see how we go. First I shall get a piece of wicking prepared. Okay, with wicking I always try and cut with the grain, is it? With the grain, because otherwise you cut across it, it'll just disintegrate. Okay, so we'll use some nickel wire. This is 30 gauge nickel wire. Okay. Right, and wrap it around your tool. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8 to start with. Push them closer together. Okay. Right, so you have to insert your wicking first. It's quite a thick coil, 3.5 millimeters is the tool. Okay, and we shall rest it. Where it wants to be, and cut up. Okay, and you can use that tool to get your coil in there, and make sure you cover these holes with your cotton, otherwise you'll get leakage. There you go. And fasten the screw. Feed the other end through the bottom. And fasten the screw there. And then remove any excess. And I have the coil made. Okay, okay, so fix it there. Put a little juice on it. And put the tank back together. Okay, so we're going to be firing this on the SX Mini today. So 40 joules, 380 Fahrenheit, temperature Fahrenheit. It's a nickel coil, not titanium. And there we go. So we'll put it on and lock the resistance 0.147. Okay, so let's pop back up to FaceTime and see how it vapes.
Alright guys, so here we have the temperature of the nickel coil on there, 40 watts. Yeah, the vape's fine. Yeah, I think it needs a bit longer for the juice to soak through. I think I used quite a bit of cotton, maybe a bit too much cotton, but yeah, it's not wicking brilliantly. But it's working fine, getting a lovely flavour. Yeah, lovely flavour. So, the Triton tank. It's got to be a thumbs up on all fronts, really. I find it hard to find something negative to say about it. Yeah, with the 1.8 ohm coil, it's giving flavour and a vape like an RTA, as good as or better than my K-Phone V4 certainly. And sub ohm with the stainless steel coils, I've never known flavour like it. Yeah, you really need to try it. It's something else. And it works with nickel, titanium. Now it has a rebuildable head. I think possibly the rebuildable section might sell better than the tank, because the rebuildable section works in other tanks as well. The Freemax, the Vapeston, the Arctic, things like that. And they're only $12 or about £8. That's a steal. If you have a couple of those, one ready to change in as you change it out, no more paying £10 for 5 coils every 6 months or whatever, which I think is why Aspire have so grudgingly released it and have waited so long to release it, because they make so much money selling separate coils that why would they want to sell a rebuildable one? But they've kind of been forced into it by other companies, Kanga with the Subtank Plus especially, and so I released one, but made sure it didn't fit the Atlantis. But they've released a winner of a tank with it. Definitely for me, I think I'll be using this with the 1.8 ohm coil, vaping it mouth to lung with 12mg juice in. Yeah, that'll probably be my go-to tank for the next month or so, until something else gets released, certainly. It's the best tank that I've used, certainly. It doesn't look the best. I think it looks a bit busy with all the symbols and the markings, and there's a lot going on, and it's quite a big tank, and it's a juice drinker. It goes through juice no matter what coil you put in there, whether it be the 1.8 or the 0.4, it goes through some juice. But yeah, I think about £30 currently, £30 for a tank, £8 to the rebuildable section. It's top filling. You can remove the coil and change it in and out whilst the juice is still in there. They're ticking all the boxes at Aspire with this one, really. Yeah, it's certainly a winner for me, and I'd have to give it thumbs up. Yeah, the next build I won't put as much cotton in, but the tank, 10 out of 10. They've done it again, Aspire. I spent most of my vaping journey on a Nautilus or a Nautilus Mini, certainly in the early days, and I can see myself getting quite a lot of usage out of this piece. Yeah, definitely one that's worth a try, guys. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful and informative. If you like the video, please subscribe while you're here. Help us get to his first giveaway at 500 subscribers. And if you enjoyed it or found it informative, give us a thumbs up. Watch a few more videos while you're here, feel free. And just remember the important thing: keep on vaping, don't be smoking. Thanks for your time, guys. Stay safe.